Sorry, when I reply again, it sounds unclear. I mean, when I was asked by a friend to transcript for that child labor, for example, and how is a pro and cons. First, of course, we have to verify whether it's a really Indonesian speaking it. Although it's my friends anyway who give it to me, and I can hear her voice. But that's also a thing that the person that they interview is actually really Indonesian or not Indonesian or things like that. And as well as when I have to before they decide that the case is finished with a GI, then I have also have to verify whether it's I think it's an Indonesian or not Indonesian before I can answer any other question, for example, or whether I can agree for whatever task they want me to do after. I agree or not agree. So and as well as a lot of telephone conversation or communication when I'm interpreting as well. Sometimes I still, although I accept the call, then I have to make sure whether I continue the call as it's stated, or whether the communication when they ask me to do, unless when it is on the court, because on the court is very straightforward. You only do something instead of another, so the flow of thinking is not if one then two, then three, if not then this, but it's very straightforward. But when it's not as precise as a court, they want us to communicate a message, then I have to understand the message first to be able to deliver it. Otherwise it would be confusing, not only to them. While in the court, I'm not it's not me who needed to understand, although I need to understand to be able to translate, but it's more precise thing. So I also sometimes have to consider whether the more I do, the more I have to report back, because of my we work in a place where we have non-bias and what I call it, impartial. So if there is an impartiality that that would be a bridge, for example, for me personally, or something that I have to pursue further because of one thing or another. Because as a learning in psychology as well, I know that the authors have to, if anything that is other, then I have to report to safeguarding thing, but I would not able to disclose everything without a warrant, things like that. So so there's several other things that even when we receive interpreting, there's a lot of discussion in my head myself to just thinking one thing or another. And that hence I said, for me, although court is a very precise translation, and it's very to some extent is very demanding in brain power, but I think it's quite straightforward and easy as a guideline, rather than working in a different environment. So yeah, so if you it's just a thank you for the translator and interpreter community, that especially those inviting me to be part in a England court and Scotland, and now I just called for the Wales and Northern Ireland as well, and other parts of people that inviting me to work into a public service linguistic and language jobs, and yeah, and some of the tips that I've done throughout my career, which is 20 something years.